and welcome to this episode of the Excuse Buster Show. I'm Lizzie Williamson, and if body image is getting in your way of feeling how you want to feel and living the life you want to live, then you want to tune in, because this guest next to me, this beautiful woman, is a body love warrior. And in fact, her first name means warrior. She helps women change the mindset that we have to change the way we look to feel good about ourselves. She's also a yoga guru, the co-founder of Soul Steps, which combines her beautiful hatha yoga style with these awesome beats, and also the founder of HeartGlow Yoga, which runs classes, events, workshops, and retreats all around the world. We all want to go on one of those, especially the Maldives ones coming on up. She gives the most honest, beautiful, raw, wonderful advice on her Instagram and her blog. One of my favorite is how you become bikini body ready. You put on a bikini and there you go, you are ready. Yes, this is the beautiful Kelli, and I've already forgotten how to say last name.
Prieur.
I just wanted to hear you say it in your accent. Kelli Prieur, thank you so
Canadian
much
accent.
for meeting me
You're
here
welcome.
in paradise on the northern beaches. Very, very nice.
Very nice.
So the idea of putting a photo of ourselves up on Instagram in our bikini without doing a whole lot of filters, poses in a certain way so you don't see any folds or any cellulite or anything, it just kind of freaks the majority of us out.
Yeah.
And yet you do it. And the way that you write is so honest as well. Your photos are so incredibly honest. What has brought you to this place of being able to do what you're doing?
What brought me to this place was I spent a long time, not liking my body. And for a long time when I was younger, I actually was super thin and I was still really unhappy. And so as I got older and I started to work on self-worth, I realized that it actually had nothing to do with my body size. And that took practice. It wasn't like, I just decided one day, it has nothing to do with my body size and boom, shakalaka boom. I feel amazing. It takes practice, and it still does take practice. It's a mindfulness choice that I choose to love my body. And so when I really finally felt that my body was independent of my self-worth, that's when I felt free to share, because I knew it didn't matter if someone said, if someone criticized my body with something I put out there, because I was confident that I'm enough, regardless of if I'm a size 4 or a size 16. It doesn't, or whatever size you are. It's nothing to do with your self-worth. So I'm pretty I still get wavered. I mean, if someone makes a comment, like when I recently was asked if I was pregnant.
Oh, you share that story.
Also, I was leaving school one day, and ironically, it's funny how the universe has this way of showing you exactly what you need. And that day, I was feeling super crap, just not feeling good, really low, and wasn't feeling good. And I went to school pickup, and I was wearing this really frumpy outfit, and this child, a friend of Ayana's, shouted out in front of at least like 15 parents and lots of kids, "Kelli, are you pregnant?" And I was just you just have that moment, and of course I had the same drop in my stomach I would have had 10 years ago when I didn't feel good about myself, but the difference this time was the rebound, like how quickly I was able to rebound. And instead of being in like the shame storm of, okay, she's pointed out that my stomach isn't completely flat, that means I'm not good enough, I better change the way I look. Instead, I just realized that was just her perception of my body, which actually has nothing to do with my body. And I used it as a moment instead to teach my daughters about body image and what it means to be self-confident and to not worry about what others think. And that's why I shared the photo, the photo and the caption was because I think it's important to just to start a conversation about that, about our bodies and about women's bodies, and them not needing to be a size 0 to be valid and not pregnant.
Is this the conversation that you had with your girl?
Yep, we did. And we also had a conversation about why do people think it's okay to comment on others' bodies, and about what is it that why do people do that? And because my daughter she's very tall for her age, and so lots of people comment on her body, and lots of other kids comment on her height, and people just get accustomed to commenting on others' bodies. They hear the parents doing it and they do it. So we're very mindful to, the most we would say is like, you're looking really healthy, you're looking fit. We keep away from any sort of, that person is this or that, or because it's just a body.
You've lost weight.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. No, it's like that's a big. It's something I'm very, very, very conscious of with my kids, because as women, it's just drilled into us constantly that you need to lose weight, or you need to wear more makeup, or your hair needs to be straight, or whatever. There's a million ways that the media reminds you, or tempts you into thinking you're not good enough. So I'm just starting with my kids as young as possible. Yeah. Like Neve is 3, and we already talk about makeup, and like I put mascara on today. We talk about why am I wearing mascara? I don't normally wear, but instead of it being like, I need this to feel good, it's like, I'm wearing it today because it's a special day, because I'm with Lizzie Williamson.
Yeah. She's with me.
I'm with you.
Pop on some mascara.
Yeah.
Why do you think it is that we feel like we have to look a certain way, that we feel like we can feel so much shame if our bodies aren't what we think they're supposed to be? Because
I think the media feeds us, a certain type of image. Like, we're inundated with images of women who have perfectly symmetrical faces, mostly who are white, who are very, very thin, in most cases, like unhealthily thin. And it's portrayed as like, this is normal. That's what you see on all the movies you watch, even on reality television. That's what you see on Instagram. I have lots of friends on Instagram who are personal trainers, and they still, fix the photos so their waists are slimmer. And so you're already seeing these images of beautiful, beautiful 1% people who are then curated to look even thinner. And you've got, all different types of women looking at that and going, okay, well, these are the only images I see in the media, so that must be what's appropriate. And I don't match that. And most of us don't match that, like, who matches that? No one. Even those images are so airbrushed and smooth that it's not an adequate or accurate representation of women at all. So I think we just constantly fed those images, and that's why now it's great that there's this body positive movement going on, because there's so many accounts showing women with regular bodies, and the more that we see images of that, that's also how you start to shift your perception of yourself. If you're only looking at images of women who are size 4 and you're not a size 4, of course you think there's something wrong with you. You start looking at images of women who look like you, or look like other women and it normalizes your own body, It changes the lens you see yourself through.
Yeah. So you said it's taken you a lot of practice.
Yep.
It took you a lot of practice, and it still does. What made you decide to even start practicing it?
Well, after I had kids, my body changed heaps. Before I had children, I was like, how was I? I was 28 when I had my first Diana, and I was teaching 19 or 20 yoga classes a week. So I was super fit. My body was, I was like ripped, no body fat, tiny. And then I had this really fit pregnancy. And then after I had Ayana, I had really bad postnatal depression, stopped exercising at all, stopped even going out because she didn't sleep. So it was in this like crazy routine of just trying to get her to sleep. And my body I started like literally I found myself disgusting. It was like I was looking at myself through these horrible lenses, like my worst critic. And because I didn't have time to work out and I was so depressed, I was just eating like, not food that was not nourishing me. And so I think it was like something in me realized, okay, I need to start nourishing my body and simultaneously accepting and loving it now, because I don't know if it's ever going to go back to the way it was. And funnily enough, it never has. No matter how fit I've been, it's just different, and everyone's body changes as they get older. So I use the shift in my body as an opportunity to go, okay, I feel a little bit out of control with my body, but what I can control is how I see it. And so instead of seeing it through the eyes of thinking it needs to look like what I used to look like, or what I saw in media, I was like, it looks like what I look like, and I'm going to choose to see, the ripples on my back, or the rolls on my tummy, or my arms that are bigger than they used to be, with love instead of disgust, because I realized I get to choose how I see it, Yeah. But it's still a choice, I still have moments. It happens frequently. It depends on lots, how I'm feeling, how tired I am, how full my cup is. But yeah, I still look in the mirror and, you think, oh, go to criticize. But it's about being mindful enough to notice I'm criticizing myself. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm saying something horrible to myself, and you catch it in that moment. Every single time that you do that, and it's in those moments you rewire, you're looking at your arms. My arms are disgusting. No, my arms are not disgusting. My arms are strong. Like I carry my children, I carry my groceries, whatever it is, I carry myself. Like, they're strong. You change the way you see it, because it's you choose how you see it. So you've got to make that choice like again and again and again until it's no longer such an effort to make the choice, and that's the place where I'm at now. So when I got asked if I was pregnant, you know, yes, momentarily I was like, oh God, felt like I got punched in the stomach.
Oh my goodness.
Like, okay.
You only have to have just like you only just have to have like the littlest of tummies.
Yeah. And you could potentially
have its experience. I mean, you just need to look at the magazines to know just all those celebrities. They just get targeted if they've got a little tummy. Boom, they're
you're
pregnant.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, I'm not. And you know what? Even when I was my thinnest, I still had a tummy, and potentially was probably the same size as when I was 3 months pregnant. So it's like every woman's body is different, and some women, you're curvy. You know, that's the shape of your body. And so I didn't feel like I wanted to punish myself anymore to have this body that was unattainable for me, you know? So I wasn't willing to do what it took to be that size, because the size didn't matter. I'd been that size and wasn't any happier, you know? So
okay, well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because it really is, I think, quite an ingrained belief that when we are skinnier, we will be happier.
No, not at all, because the thing is you know how there's that saying like happiness is an inside job? That's because it comes from the inside, because it's all about how you perceive things. So the thing is, being thin doesn't mean that first of all, it doesn't mean that person is beautiful or any better than anyone else. And also that person who is super thin, unless they're looking at themselves with loving eyes, they'll still be looking at other things that aren't enough. They could be really thin, but then they're looking at, you know, I have wrinkles here, or here I'm getting lines, I need to get Botox, or, you know, it'll be the gray hairs. Or
I mean, you only have to look at even with eating disorders to know that it actually doesn't matter in a way what size you are.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I've certainly, when I was at probably my skinniest, I thought my body was disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what also I think was eye-opening for me is in university, I roomed for a whole year with a friend who ended up being like severely anorexic. And I remember how unhappy she was at her lowest point, you know, when she was really close to death. And also, once again, seeing that direct correlation, so skinny, so unhappy, like it's, you know, happiness not equal to being skinny, you know? And so, when I was younger and skinny, I also was skinny because it's not just because I was naturally thin, you know, I was partying a lot, I was restricting what I ate, I was working out like crazy, and I was unhealthily skinny, you know. When I went back to Canada after living here and meeting Jesse, I didn't fit into any of my old party clothes, like, you know, not at all. And I remember an older friend of mine making a joke, like, you know, honey, those are your party days clothes, like, it's okay that you don't fit those. And that was also a moment for me where I was like, yeah, you're right, I was only that skinny when I was, you know, just at rock bottom unhealthy. And so why do I want to, you know, covet getting back into those clothes? Like, why?
I hear that a lot though, women wanting to fit back into their clothes, even if it was a time where they weren't super skinny, unhealthy, maybe they just want to get back in, fit back into their clothes. They feel so much better when they're it's a tricky one.
Do you know what actually shifted a lot for me was your book 2 Minute Moves, because what happened for me was I was feeling really unhealthy. After I had my second child, I went through the same postnatal depression, same thing of I gained heaps of weight off eating all these raw treats. Don't eat the whole tray of raw treats. If you make them, you're not meant to eat the whole tray. Okay, that's like not more healthy for you if you eat 15 natural Twix bars.
I can't. Yeah,
it's like it doesn't.
I can't make those Powerballs.
Oh God, don't make them unless you have incredible.
They're gonna go in one day.
Yeah, they're gonna go all in here. So the same thing happened to me, and it seemed completely unattainable to do big workouts to get healthy again. And as well, I was in a place of practicing self-love regardless of my size. But what I found was when I started doing little increments of strength work and just self-love, you know, even if it was 2 minutes, and obviously I would do 2 minutes, that would breed a desire to do 2 more here and 2 more there. And then I felt better about myself, not because I was thinner, because I never changed size. It was because I was stronger. So I felt good within myself. You know, it wasn't about, oh, the moves made me skinny. It was like, no, the moves made me strong, and I felt connected to myself. And I felt full and confident, you know, and that's why I do feel like I can rock a bathing suit, because I know I'm strong, you know. I know what my body can do, even though it's the shape it is. It's super strong, and I'm really comfortable with that. Yeah.
So let's talk about then some daily little practices. So you're obviously practicing a lot, those tangible things that if you're watching or listening to this, you go, yeah, that all sounds fantastic, but there's no way I can get there. The only way I'm going to be able to get there is if my body changes.
Yeah. No, it's, you know, another saying, right? Like a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Yeah.
Like it's shift happens not in like one big chunk, you know, just like even if your goal was to lose weight, you can't go like, okay, and I'm a size 4. Everything is a process, right? And you're constantly in a process. So if you want to change the way you feel about yourself, you literally decide right now, like let's say you watch the show and you go, okay, I'm over criticizing myself. It's time to show myself love. I acknowledge I choose how I see myself. You then become like a little hawk watching yourself, watching the thoughts that pop into your head, and you watch and you notice, there's a self-deprecating thought. I'm criticizing myself, you know, whether it's like, oh, you're so stupid, or oh, look how fat you are, or like you should be that size, or why isn't your life like that? You know, it's like that little demon voice in your head. You catch it, recognize that it's not the truth, and that those thoughts are just autopilot thoughts that pop in because you fed them 1,800,000 times before, not because they're true. You catch them, and then that's when you rewire, you know, and you rewire and you rewire and you rewire, and eventually that rewiring becomes like a thick cord, and that cord's thicker than the autopilot reaction you previously had, and your brain eventually fires towards your enoughness thinking, you know, and it's a process, and you have to practice until it becomes a new autopilot, you know, until you reset the way you see and perceive yourself. But it's like anything, it's like practicing downward dog, you know. The first so many times you do it, you know, your neck is tight, you can't activate the right muscles, you're trying, it's so much effort. Eventually it's pretty effortless, you know. It's still, I have to think, okay, cool, neck is relaxed, arms are working, but I know how to do it, but I've had to practice. Same thing with self-love, you know, same thing with learning anything. You practice and you practice and you practice until you no longer have to, and you just start like, and you screw up, you just catch yourself and go, I don't want to feed that thought, pick a different one. And it's just that simple, thought after thought. You just shift it one thought at a time.
This stuff works big time. I've done it myself.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how much it works.
Yeah.
And over time, I look back and go, whoa, I used to be so horrendous on myself.
Yeah.
And every time I've caught that, I've changed it, flipped it, switched it, spoken another way. And then, I love that analogy about the cord.
Yeah. Strengthening how you feel. Because, the thing is, you know, this is also why no matter how thin you are, if the thoughts of the inside are negative, you're never going to be happy, right? Because the thoughts that are going on inside of your head, they're the most predominant thing that you're hearing, you know. So even if you're a size 0, if you're looking in the mirror and the thoughts are, you're disgusting, you know, like you're not enough, then you feel not enough, because it's not, the enoughness isn't about being skinny. The enoughness is about telling yourself you are enough, and, you know, telling yourself enough that you eventually believe that. And, you know, the great thing is also other people will see you how you perceive yourself, you know. So it's like, if you perceive yourself as, I'm strong and I'm confident and I feel good in my body, that's what other people see, you know. Like I hope that when people look at me, they see strong, you know. She's strong. I don't think people look at me and go, oh, she's fat. I'm like, no, I'm strong, you know. I'm size 12 or whatever size I am, but I'm really strong, and that's what I focus on. And, you know, I know this is true, that people see what you think, because recently I had this student on a retreat, and as soon as she walked in, I looked at her, and the initial thing I thought was, what a goddess. And I know her, I've known her for a while, I hadn't seen her in ages, but I thought, God, she's just a goddess, the way she's walking around. And then I said that to her, and she said, you will not believe this, I caught myself looking in the mirror earlier this week, judging myself and telling myself I was disgusting, I should be thinner, like from before I had kids, I should be different. And I thought, no, you are a goddess. And she said, I have been walking around saying to myself, I am a goddess.
Wow.
And no joke, it still gives me shivers. I looked at her, and that's all I could feel was, because it was emanating from her. Just like when you look at someone and they feel not enough, you feel it, you know. But when someone's like, not like pompous, but just like enoughness, there's a difference, you know. It's just like, not I'm better than anyone, just I'm enough, you know. I'm enough. And that enoughness is like, it supersedes anything that you look like or what size you are, you know. It's like, that's what resonates with people. In my experience anyways, you know. I don't think people come to my classes because of my body size or how big my arms are. You know, it's like, that's not why they come and connect. They come because they can connect, you know, because I want to connect with them. And I think we forget that in life, that it's not, what we're looking for is not like an ideal body size. It's just, we're looking for peace on the inside.
Is that what has drawn you to yoga?
It actually wasn't. It was, I guess it's sort of like how you've ended up with doing the show, you know, from starting with doing all your Pilates, the dance, the 2-minute moves, like everything is a progression. I started because I had crazy chronic back pain, and I was having really, like, I still suffer extreme anxiety. And so the combination of chronic pain and major anxiety, that was driving me to find something. And then I saw this poster in Whistler about doing, I think it was like a month unlimited for really cheap, like $20 or something silly like that. Yeah. And so I just signed up, and I took a class with this woman, Kristen, who's still one of my best friends to this day. And I took the very first class with her, and I just knew, like, literally it was like a message downloaded, as cheesy as that sound. It was like God going, you need to teach yoga. This is for you. And so I decided literally in that moment, I'm going to become a teacher. She had a teacher training starting a few weeks later. She paid for me to do it, and I paid her back over a year teaching for her.
That's cool.
And and then I've been teaching ever since. So I started teaching directly, 3 months later after becoming certified, and then so that was what started it. And then eventually, I worked through my chronic pain, and then I started working on the even more potent stuff, which was like my emotional and mental pain, by using the yoga practices to, like, you use them like a mirror. So I use the yoga poses to pull up whatever stuckness is in there, whether it's like, your hips are stuck, or you've got tension in your hands or your jaw, to, your mind's cluttered, or you're judging yourself, you're criticizing, you're comparing, you feel not enough, or, there's emotions all clogged up in the heart. The poses will bring up the stuff, so you can see the stuff and go, I'm frustrated, or, okay, I'm really distracted, and actually rewire those patterns. So it's, you use the practice to practice witnessing yourself. And that's why the practice has helped me find self-love, because through yoga, I learned how to witness myself and how to slow my brain down enough to watch what I was thinking and doing. And then it's through that watching, I catch myself when I'm being negative or mean to myself, and I pull myself up, I realign the thought. And that came from yoga, But you can practice that mindfulness anywhere. It doesn't need to be through yoga. You just need to practice mindfulness. But for me, that was the gateway to mindfulness, which was the gateway to self-love. Yeah, it took me a long time to find it, though. For the first however many years, yoga was about the physical practice. Even before I had kids. This is funny because now I'm HeartGlow Yoga. They used to call me Killer Kelli. Oh, wow! Such a hardcore power yoga teacher. It's not just anyone who knows me.
They call me the smiling assassin. I'm just like, I'm too nice to be an assassin.
I know. I was like, Killer Kelli. I remember going back to the city after becoming a mom. Someone going, is Killer Kelli coming back? And I was like, oh no, there's a bit of a transformation. So it took a while for me to get to this place, but I've gotten here through a lot of practice. So and I know that no matter how stuck you are or how negatively your current view is of yourself, you can shift it. You just have to shift it literally. It's one thought at a time. There's no quick fix. There's no quick fix. You have to do it every day, every single day. And if there was a practice that I would say serves me the most, because it's another way of looking at yourself, is just taking, at any point in your day, especially if you find a point that you're like, I'm feeling frustrated, or you're feeling really bad about yourself, sit and just dump everything out of your head onto a paper. And that's another way of getting a mirror. If you're honest with yourself, whatever it is you're feeling, my arms are fat, I hate the rolls in my back, I've got cellulite on my legs, I'm getting old, there's wrinkles all over my face, I'm not making enough money, whatever it is, all the worries out, then you can see them just like you see yourself in a yoga pose, and you can go, am I going to choose to tell myself I am everything you've written down, or am I going to feed those thoughts? Because so much of the time people don't even know what they're thinking. They're unaware of it, right? They think a million self-deprecating thoughts through the day, and then they wonder, how come I feel bad about my body? Or you go to put a bikini on, and it's like, how come it's not enough to just go, you look fine? It's like, well, because you've been telling yourself all this other stuff that you're completely unaware of. So if you practice yoga. If you don't, definitely get that, like the brain dump. It's called doing morning pages. Just like getting the junk out so you can see the junk, and then choose not to keep feeding it, or not to keep it in your body. Get it out.
This is so well worth making a commitment to do, isn't it? Those changing those thoughts, not only I guess for our our own selves, but that for everyone around us and our children, our daughters, our grandchildren.
Yeah, especially as women, it's so huge to take on self-love ourselves. You know, actually recently I had a friend of mine whose daughter was called fat. Can you believe that? Another kid at school in grade 1 called her fat, and just so cruel. So hence why I was talking about body image, because 6 and 7-year-olds are like already using it against each other. And I was talking to the mom, and of course it was like, oh well, I've never told her to lose weight, but I often talk to her about how I'm on a diet and I need to lose weight. And women forget, I think, a lot that whether you tell your child they need to lose weight, or even if you don't say to your child, oh, mommy's fat, if you think you're fat and you are acting like you think you're fat, they pick it up, and then they think anything bigger than a size 0 or what I see on TV isn't normal and it's bad. They think their body is bad if they don't match it. So as women, it's like I feel such a huge responsibility to fill up my self-cup, you know, and be confident in my body, you know, how my boobs are doing as they're aging, like everything, you know, just being like comfortable with my body as I age, so that my girls are constantly reminded of what beauty is, you know, and what just what it is to be a woman, and not that it's about being skinny, because they pick it up. And you know,
they asked you the other day, didn't you, why you weren't why don't you
ever wear a bra? Not wearing a bra now, why don't you ever wear a bra? They did ask me that. I get all the good questions. Why don't you wear a bra? Why is our house such a mess? I get Ayana really pulls it. She's very honest. I don't know where she gets the honesty. I'm so honest. She asked why I wasn't wearing a bra, and I was like, because nobody said that I had to. And that was another thing I really hit home for me. I think it was probably last year, actually. I ran a retreat in Bali, and it was so hot. And anyone who knows me, it's like an ongoing joke that I'm hot all the time. I dress like it's summer and winter. I don't wear shoes. I'm very I'm Canadian. I'm just like so used to the cold. So I'm there, but I'm like sweating profusely, and I couldn't handle it. So I just couldn't handle wearing like a sports bra and a top. So eventually it was either like no bra and a top, or it was just bikini top. And it was so incredible, because without me even mentioning like, you don't need to wear a bra, ladies, there were about 12 women through the week. It was so magic. They all either shed the bra and just went with the top. So like, we're just like, get this off, I don't want to be uncomfortable. Or women who were not size 0 were taking their tops off with just a sports bra on, so that they could be comfortable and not be sweating, you know, and uncomfortable. And by the end of the week, everyone was just so full of self-love. It was amazing. We all did like these beautiful goddess photo shoots and like the water fountains, because everyone, no matter what their size, was really like feeling like, yes, I'm strong and connected, you know, I'm in control. And it was so great to see that. And I realized that something as simple as taking the bra off and just me being comfortable, I was like, me allowing myself to be comfortable gave them permission to be comfortable. And then when I came back home, I hate bras, and I always have. And eventually I just decided, like, I used to only not wear bras when it wasn't really obvious, and now I just it's again a decision to not care, you know. But it's something that I consciously choose, you know. Even today it's like, oh, do I wear something to wear a bra? No, I don't like bras. Oh, they're gonna be able to see I'm not wearing a bra. And then my brain now goes, who cares? They're just boobs. It doesn't, they're not meant to be like, you don't have to strap them in if you don't want to. If you want to, great, but if you don't want to, great as well, you know. So I find them uncomfortable, so I just I'm all about free the tatas. And stop, you know, free the tatas. Not necessarily like need to walk off around with your shirt off or like see-through tops, but I mean, just like, you don't need to wear a bra. And the fact that so many women are like, oh, you know, at retreats, I see it right after class, get this off. And it's like, why put it on in the first place? What you can totally practice without a bra, you know. And it's practice, because I even have men in my class, you know, sometimes I think, oh God, should I? And it's like, well, I'm not going to be inappropriate ever or sexual, but at the same time, it's like, if I'm wearing whatever it is I'm wearing and I'm comfortable, you know. And once again, it comes from what makes me comfortable, not what makes other people comfortable. You know, society will be comfortable if I'm size 0 and I wear a bra and wear a full face of makeup and I never, you know, complain. It's like, well, I'm not going to do that. It's not going to happen.
I love you so much. How amazing is this woman? If you are listening and watching her, you're in this beautiful sunshine, aren't you, with the golden locks, with the sun through the trees. If you're watching, listening, and think, I need me some of this. I need me some of this feeling of self-love. Like, how can everyone get a piece of you? What do you got?
I give out lots of tips and ways to practice self-love on my Instagram. I try on my Instagram, unless it's like I'm promoting something that, I'm promoting not because I'm trying to sell something, but because I want to spread self-love and self-awareness of having self-love. I try with every post to offer something that's about accepting yourself and loving yourself, whether it's accepting the mess in your house. I made a post about that yesterday, or accepting, the rolls on your back, or whatever it is.
Motherhood. Your Instagram, it has had like the most profound effect on impact on me. Absolutely, yeah, in the way that I feel about myself.
Oh, thank you.
And also the way that I can, I take, like I always say about that your bikini body thing. I'm always telling that to everyone, because I'm a personal trainer. So people are like, I just want to be bikini body wear. I went, here's how you do it. This is what Miss HeartGlow Yoga says.
The special $1 million tip is.
Okay, so Instagram.
Choose your ready.
Yeah.
Instagram, or if you can make it on one of my retreats, that's always amazing, because what happens, right, is like you are the way that you are because you practice that way of being. And so it helps to have a chunk of time, whether it's a day, which is great, or even better, a whole weekend or a week, to literally look in the mirror. It's the same way, like, if you look in the mirror for 1 second, you're going to see something different than if you sit there and you're looking in the mirror for 8 days. You're going to see a lot more the longer you look in the mirror. So that's really the way to get a good kickstart. If you're like, I have no idea where to start, come and take a class. I have lots of Soul Steps events. We're going on tour right now, all over the South Coast. We've got like 7 events. Come and see us. We're all down the South Coast. We're in Cronulla and Avalon and Redfern, and come and get a good dose of it. And it just gives you, it's just like that kickstart. Just get yourself started, and then once the ball's rolling, you can keep pushing that ball. But sometimes you need just a little kickstart. So yeah, you can come see me in person. Come with some love.
Yes. Killer Kelli is
Killer
now
Kelli.
Killer Kickstart Kelli.
Killer Kickstart Kelli.
How would you describe yourself now?
I'm definitely, I hope, and what I aim to portray is that I am full of love, and I used to think that people needed to be really confronted, but from like a push way, to see themselves and transform, where now I'm all about coaxing the body open and doing it with so much self-love. And so when students come to me, they can definitely expect to still be confronted, because I get people to look at their stuff, but you're doing it while someone is helping you do it from a place of like constant self-acceptance and love. So there's no negativity about yourself. You're not berating yourself. You're not putting yourself down. You're not competing. I make a point. I don't teach inaccessible poses. I don't even teach headstand in my classes. I don't teach even crow, not even shoulder stand, like nothing inaccessible. So no matter what level you're at, you can come to me and be sure that you're going to leave feeling better, not like, oh God, she's doing floats up to handstand and calling full splits and I can't do that, because most people can't do that. And that's what intimidates people to start yoga.
Yes.
Is because people think, oh, yoga is handstand, yoga's scorpion, yoga's this crazy acro yoga I see. No, yoga is anything that reunites you to the fullest version of yourself through you looking at yourself. And that can happen if you laying on the grass. You can lay on the grass for 20 minutes, watch yourself, boom, yoga. Like you don't need to wait until I hold handstand, until I'm, again, a size 0, until I look like all the yoga superstars I see on Instagram. And that's a real, it is a real problem. And so it's great we're seeing more just normal body women on social media, because it's, I hope, starting to regulate, that idea of I have to look a certain way or have a certain strength or flexibility to do yoga. I've been doing it, practicing for like ages, almost 15 years, and I still can't do deep back bends. It's inaccessible for my body. Imagine if, like, for a long time I thought, oh, I won't be an inspiring teacher because I can't do drop backs. Where you go, it's not about the drop back.
Yeah.
It's not about the drop back. You can spend 20 years learning a drop back, or spend 20 years learning how to watch yourself and be self-loving. What's more important? It's like you choose, So yeah, if you're feeling inhibited to start, it's not about those intense poses. It's just about looking at yourself.
So if you're watching or listening to this, what are you going to choose to do? What is it that has come out of this episode that you think, okay, I'm going to start this, I challenge you to write it in the comments so we can keep this conversation going there and find out from you what it is that you really resonated with you from this conversation. Because I mean, I've got this giant list of things, of beautiful pearls of wisdom that you have said. Yes, so thank you so much for being here with us. If you want this episode and all future episodes of the Excuse Buster Show sent to your inbox, then you head to 2minutemoves.com/live TV. The link's there, and I will send that to you, as well as Kelli's. All her details are up there in the post and in the comments as well. You are just one divine warrior. What's your last name mean again?
Oh, my last name means the one who prays.
Warrior prayer.
Praying warrior.
My maiden last name is Phil. I don't know what that means.
It doesn't even matter because what you mean is so much bigger than your last name.
Thank you much. Hold on. Oh, it's not the camera.
I'm going to knock her over. Going to pour my love into her.
Please be sure. Oh, hello. We've got Grace joining us here to like and to share this video if you're watching it on Facebook or on YouTube, so that other people get to hear Kelli's amazing message of how these little things that you can do every day really add up to making a big difference to the way that you feel about yourself, and then ultimately what you get to do for both you and for your loved ones as well. So thank you everyone. Bye.